Hello, welcome to my channel. This is Chrysalis Invictus Tarot. Today we have a love reading. I have tried to straighten out these piles, but I have a wad of cards for you today, so they're a little bit messy. If that bothers you, too bad. The reading will be good, trust me. So we have a love reading for you today. We're going to take a look at physical connection, emotional connection, spiritual connection, see what we can see about this either incoming relationship, maybe it's a pre-existing relationship, maybe it's a new beginning in a relationship. We'll see what we can see. Use your intuition to choose a pile by number, or I have these oils by heg root. So I have Banshee. You can see if the focus. Banshee, Druid Forest. I thought that was gonna roll right off. And Fairy Forest. And I would like to also call in my guides, your guides, any energies, entities, ancestors that wish to join us today, and send some healing to those who are persecuted for these spiritual tools that we use freely. And thanking those who have carried these traditions forward. When you have made your choice, find the timestamp in the description box below, and we'll get started with your reading. Pile number one, welcome to your reading. You chose Banshee or the pile one or whatever. You were drawn to this reading. Let's take a look at the relationship from this pile. So you can see I have a lot of cards to get through. So this is going to be a nice juicy reading, I think. We have Cupid and Psyche to start off your reading. Okay, so this is a head versus heart issue. I'm feeling like this pile, there are overthinkers in this connection. So this could be you or the other person. I'm really feeling like one of you is very head-centered, one of you is very heart-centered. And this could be a source of conflict or disconnect in the relationship, or something that has to be worked through as you move forward in this relationship. So whether it's incoming or whether you're already in this relationship. But this dynamic between head and heart has a really awakening, it brings a richness to each of your lives. Like through this relationship, you grow, you experience more of life, you expand your worldview. There's very much this expansion energy, like a Jupiter kind of energy here of, maybe one or the other of you is really good at discovering new foods or travel or something of that nature. And so you share that with the other. This could also be that your knowledge base. So sometimes there's this strange thing that happens that you almost absorb the knowledge of the other person. And so that could be what's happening there. Let's take a look at the other cards we have. Marie Antoinette. Be the dessert, not the entree. No man is worth losing your head over. See all, hear all, love all, forget all. Okay, so this relationship has a very all or nothing flavor to it. This is not something that you can be casual about, and it's really important that both of you communicate your direct needs and desires. So this is the kind of relationship that would really not survive with no communication about intentions. So if you are not aligned in what you want at this time, it's better to maybe take a step away and explore other relationships. because both of you are quite serious once you get into a relationship. Both of you take it very seriously, but you may not be aligned at this time. Let's take a look at more of the cards. We have the Four of Clubs, and the Joker. Okay, yeah, so there is this conflict between stability and romanticism in this relationship. There is this feeling of like we could build a home together, but I really feel like someone, this travel spirit, like maybe Sagittarius energy potentially here, but I'm also getting like earth signs. There's this like fieriness and conflict with the earth. So there's conflicting needs and desires, and this could exist in both of you, but one of you still really wants to try more in life and doesn't really want to be tied down, or the feeling of home and stability to them exists within another person and not in a fixed location. And that may be where the conflict comes in. Like if one of you is thinking of home as in we are, you know, shacking up together, we're living together, and the other person is kind of like, no, you're my fixed place. Like I call you wherever I go, you're my anchor, that kind of thing. There's a disconnect there. And I do feel that there's a lot of longing. So this could be something that has been on and off for quite some time if you already know this person. But I really feel like timing is so, so important in this relationship. Like you may meet each other young and then go through many years of on again, off again, or just sort of passing in and out of each other's lives. And it won't be until the person who is the wanderer is sort of ready to settle down that it would even be possible. It's almost like you have to come together at the right time for this. I'm going to take a look at the physical or at the relationship. We have the Nine of Chalices. This really feels like a wish come true. Like it feels really good to be in the physical presence of each other. You like sharing meals, you like sharing moments, but again, it really feels like it's almost like you meet up on trips, or that could be where you met, like traveling, and then one of you has a more stable life and the other kept traveling. But it really does feel, without this conflict of like stability versus wandering, it really feels like it's a good story. You have a good story. You have like, you probably have one of those meet cutes. Like you have, you know, we met in this place and it was like this and it felt like divine, you know, intervention. And so maybe there's some confusion as to why it hasn't come together or become stable yet. And there is the energy here for that to happen, but it in the right time. Like it just won't happen until it happens. There's this wildness, there's this current of fire running through it, and until that fire runs its course, it just can't burn out. So that could be in one or both of you. We have the King of Wands. Okay, so with the Sagittarius thing, I really do feel like there's some fire. There's a lot of fire energy here, and I say Sagittarius because Sagittarius tends to be known as the wanderer. But what the King of Wands talks about, this really deep, passionate connection, this inspiration. With the Nine of Chalices and the King of Wands, I feel like this is a very creative coupling. I feel like with the head and heart here, that, you know, if you're writers or whatever it is that you do, you really inspire each other. So if you're only coming together every so often, in those periods of time, there's like potent, heightened creativity. That's something that you get from each other. And it's really, it's really refreshing. So I'm getting that on a physical level, for physical attraction already, there's something to do with dimples. So this could be just above the buttocks, or it could be dimples in general, but there's someone really um, loves that about you. And any amount of, like, this is a kind of couple that just wants to sleep naked next to each other. Like, it doesn't, it's very hot no matter what. You don't have to do anything special or specific. Well, I mean, we're going to get into that a little bit more. I have more cards on that, and we have the world. Yeah, this is definitely a couple that if you haven't traveled together, you would definitely end up traveling together. There's also this feeling of like care, like the what I'm getting, I tried not to bring masculine and feminine into this reading, but whoever the masculine energy is feels very protective, though they are not near, is the message I'm getting. So even when they are far away, they are protective, and the feminine may feel this energy around them. And it does feel like it's the masculine that wanders. It's the masculine that kind of, it's almost like there's orbiting, like you just sort of orbit each other in some way. I can't really contextualize who's who, but there's this orbiting. So even when you're not together or in each other's lives, you're still sort of moving in the same rhythm and the same pattern. Let's take a look more at the physical connection. So I put that this is an adult reading because of these cards. These are the Decameron cards, and they can be kind of grotesque. If they're triggering, just look away. Because they can be kind of gross. We have the King of Wands again. There's so much physical heat and passion in this relationship. But again, I'm really feeling like it doesn't even have to be explicitly sexual. Like it is, but the sensuality comes from more than that. There's this like creative connection. There's this like you can really create things together. It's interesting that the woman in all of these images, let's say the feminine, is very much in like a passive state. So I do feel like the masculine energy is the pursuant in this relationship and does have to come forward, does have to be in the right place in order for this to work. And we have the Knight of Chalices. So there's love here. There's love here. There's also, again, like really liking to look at the woman from behind. Actually, just a full appreciation of the naked body. I feel like that's what it is. It's like being naked together is something almost otherworldly. Like it just feels right. It almost feels like you are extensions of each other. It feels very natural to be in that way with each other. And the Knave, the Knave of Cups. So there's a sense of play here as well. Like it may be that, perhaps one or both of you are normally self-conscious in these situations. I am getting with the King of Wands that this is a situation where one or both of you feels more comfortable to be forthright sexually than you normally would be, and to express play and to explore. And there's definitely like someone likes your bum for sure. This sense of like being behind you, but I also get that that's a protective sensibility. This is something that And if this is a situationship, or if you haven't, fully ever come together, it's something that you continuously come back to each other and feel very comfortable and very at home with each other. All the wands, so much passion here. 10 of Wands. Yeah, there's just business, there's just things that have to be done before you can come together. There's lessons that you have to learn separately. These are two very individual people who need to learn things on their own, who need to close out cycles on their own. And though there's a lot of passion and there's this definitely like a soulmate energy, a romantic energy, this like, it's like a story that would make people envious almost. It just cannot happen without both people like kind of going through their own things and exploring other things with other people. And I think it's through experiencing those things, actually. You know how sometimes even in like coupled relationships, if someone cheats, there are situations where that strengthens the relationship, because the person who stepped out of that relationship really like has a full appreciation for their partner afterward. So there could be something, not necessarily that there's cheating, but there that in the periods of separation that exist in this relationship, it really helps to nourish the relationship, because you realize what you have. You realize this not only is there love, but there's passion. There's both, quite a bit of both. They just love your body, like a lot. Yeah, even more here. Death. So there's cycles to move through, but there's something about how this connection feels outside of regular reality. Like there's nothing to compare it to. There's nothing that exists that's like this. And so even in times of separation, if you are going through separation, or if this relationship hasn't happened yet, and you're, looking into the future and reflecting back maybe on this reading, just know and be secure and trust that there is nothing like this relationship that exists. Wow, hidden desires are very intense in this connection. We have death and the devil. There's this, again, like really wanting to watch you, to observe you. Your counterpart in this connection admires you, is inspired by you, is changed by you. And yeah. And it's almost like no one can cut to the core of things and hurt them. Like I see this as like you can really trigger them. There could be a lot of triggering in this relationship, but it's almost like there's a level where you understand that it's so needed. It's exactly what the gift of this relationship is that, if both of you can learn to move through these triggers, to observe them, to say, okay, like I understand that, when you are afraid to be intimate, that's triggering my abandonment wound. And like, if you can find that space in this relationship, there's a lot of hot passion. There's just so much being naked with each other. And I think it's both emotional and physical. Cupid's arrow. What? Cupid. This is very divine. Like this is something that strikes you, and and it will continue to strike you. So even if you don't have periods of separation like I'm talking about, even if you kind of are always together, you may have lulls in your relationship. You may have like big spaces in your relationship where you're not really connecting with each other, and then you have to sort of come back together and reconnect. Have faith, love is coming, surprise invitation or meeting, hesitation. So it could be that this person, you don't really see this connection coming, or like one or both of you has been very secretive about how you're feeling, or there has been some reason that you have denied this connection. So it could be that you were friends for a long time, or and you didn't want to change that relationship, or that you were connected. Perhaps, someone dated someone else's friend or family member even. And so there's something there where this struck you and it was so powerful, but it was also sort of unexpected. And the timing as well, like with the divine timing. So if this is an on again, off again thing over many years, because for some of you it is, and if that is the case, then the timing when you will actually come together may surprise you. It's not something you're going to be able to predict, and it may seem like it has completely fallen apart right before it comes together. We have the snake. There was a snake somewhere else here, yeah, and I kept fixating on the snake, but I couldn't quite understand what it meant. And I feel like it's something along the lines of, with this devil here as well, and death, there's something about a rhythm between the two of you, and you will know what this means. There's something about being close to each other where you feel connected to each other's rhythm. So you may have really psychic connection, you may have really intense dreams about each other, or just knowing. You just know things about each other. The only thing about those sort of knowing relationships is that they have to be grounded. And so, when you have someone that's sort of like touring around and when you're both having to learn your lessons, it can be really hard to ground that relationship. But you also think of the snake as being a very shaman sort of energy, belly to the ground, and being very connected to the earth. So one piece of advice I would give to you in this relationship, and as you move through this relationship, is to ground it, to find ways that you can ground, to find fixed spaces and times that you ground this relationship. So the words on this card are competition, enemy, clever, malicious, look over your shoulder, and the other woman. I'm not really feeling any of those words, but that could mean something to you. I mean, that could be related to, where we said here before, like you were in a situation where you didn't really feel like it was something that could be romantic. Lightning, yes, this comes on so suddenly. Sudden change, shocking news, surprise, epiphany, upheaval, transformation. So it may take several what we call tower moments. Readers always talk about tower moments, where the tower falls, these epiphanies or these breakthrough moments of like, wow, the more you experience this like full wish fulfillment in your connection. We started out with Cupid, your mind is almost in opposition to this connection for quite some time. It feels like one or both of you could be in that space, but the masculine carries it through. So the masculine is the carrier of this relationship and will need to go through and have their epiphany before they can come together. So even if the feminine recognizes what this connection is, the masculine is the one that's going to have to carry it forward through these epiphanies. And then we have the sword and the rose. Clarity, truth, revelation, solidarity, force, honor, protection, and power. Yeah, so that protective energy is here. Like no matter what, the feminine is always feeling the protective energy of the masculine. So if you're the masculine and you're wondering like, can she feel it? Or can they feel it? Yes, they can. And maybe not consciously, but this protection may also kind of cover them from certain people. Like the more you resonate in your heart space toward them, or the more you send that heart energy out toward them, the less likely they are going to be able to connect with like karmic partners and things like that. So finally, I have a few flower petal oracle cards just for some advice. Blushing bride, your intentions and heart deserve to be known. This is again about communicating feelings. Like this connection needs a lot of communication because it's got a lot of moving parts. It's got a lot of intense energy, a lot of love, a lot of passion. It needs communication. But we have blushing bride. So I do feel like this relationship does culminate in a loving, lasting relationship, whether that is romantic or not. There's a lot of passion here. There's a strong possibility for that. But because it is it's really more or less whether both people are able to, move through these cycles of growth and come back together or stay together. And baby's breath, everlasting success is assured if you remain honest and true. So we have intentions and hearts. So out of your head, there's a lot of being in the head versus, so it's interesting, in a connection that has so much passion and so much, like it's all cups and wands. It's all passion and emotion. And yet I can feel the sword and the rose. I can feel that both of you are very much in your head. And so if this couple, if your relationship can come out of the headspace into the heart space, and if you can let your intentions, communicate your intentions, remain honest about your feelings, so whether they're good or bad, and be able to not only communicate those feelings but receive those feelings and hear those feelings from your partner, this is a connection that can last. And there is an indication here with bride and baby that this is a connection where you could have children, where you could have a marriage if that's what you're looking for. So there is long-term possibility for this for sure, but this is a couple that really goes through cycles both together and apart. It's almost like you're always together even when you're apart, is what I'm feeling. So that's what I have for you, pile number one. I hope this was stimulating, interesting, whatever for you. Please leave me a comment, like, subscribe, and I will see you soon. Pile number two, welcome to your reading. So we had a nice big juicy reading for pile number one. You chose Druid Forest. Let's get into your cards. So you had a lot of physical connection. I could feel when I was shuffling the cards. There was a lot of energy, and you have a lot of cards. So let's get through them. Let's see what you have. Venus and Vulcan. Wow. Balance. This is very much the a feminine and a masculine. There is a very strong bond between the two of you. It feels like you hold hands, whether you're holding hands or not. It feels like you feel safer and stronger and stand taller next to each other. So this is very much a coupling where you come into your own, where you feel balanced with each other. And even within yourself in relation to this person. Vulcan is a earthy, fiery energy. Venus is very sensual and beautiful. And so there could be a very masculine looking masculine as well, and a very feminine. Or even just an unexpected combination here physically is what I'm getting. Let's take a look. Lena Dunham. Everyone forgets you except you. It's okay to play hide and seek by yourself. Don't be afraid of standing on the shoulders of your parents. Okay, yeah, so this is kind of what I was getting about the unexpected combination here. So this could be a coupling that maybe people wouldn't put you together physically, or they wouldn't put you together like you seem to be very different or have very different values. So there's something about this relationship that may be a little bit avant-garde or a little bit strange to onlookers, but once they saw how you balance each other, they would like understand. There's something about this person that for you feels like they are a complete self. They are a complete person. They're quite independent. And so you don't feel like you need to take responsibility for them. Like they seem to be very solid. They seem to be very good at entertaining themselves. Like you are an option. They choose to be by your side. They choose to spend that time. They don't need you. And that's something that is going to feel really good and really attractive. And I think because you are also that person, but in a different way. There's also an indication here that there could be like something to do with your families. That could be what's unexpected. Like your families, maybe it could be that you're from different cultures and like your families wouldn't normally meet or mix, or some sort of there's some sort of conflict external to this relationship. The relationship itself and the two people involved in it are very, very closely bonded, but there's something external to it that is more disruptive. And then we have Rihanna. The badder you are, the better it is. Sometimes you have to stick it out through the storm, and you have to be strong to let yourself be weak. Again, here we see those like oppositional forces. So it could be, a bad girl with a good guy, or a bad guy with a good girl. I don't know. Just like this is an unexpected combination. But it's sort of like, this is a dated reference, but I'm going to say Edward Norton and Courtney Love. If you're old enough to know that reference, you'll know what I'm talking about, where it's sort of like really like an Oscar-winning actress with Courtney Love. It's strange, or actor. That's kind of a strange combination, and even in that situation, I would argue that he was the Venus and she was the Vulcan. But so that's where you see that it doesn't have to be specifically gendered, that Vulcan is the like a woman or whatever. But I'm really feeling like there's just something almost like punk rock about this, except maybe you're not punk rock. It's just something that like goes against convention, but it really, really works. And no one's going to question it because you've got Empress and Emperor energy. So if there's any self-consciousness about this relationship, and there, with the external forces around you, there could be something that people could find it kind of strange, or maybe you just perceive that they would find it strange. Remember that you are Emperor and Empress. Like there is no, like, people don't question that. You guys are like power couple energy, right? So you're at the top of your game, both of you, and these strong, independent people who just create this really intense bond that can inspire others, honestly. What else do we have? We have the Two of Diamonds and the Jack of Clubs. Okay. So there's an aspect of this relationship where there will be it may be hard to juggle schedules at first. I think that there's something in this, it could be because of careers, or it could be because of like artistic pursuits or passions where, and I think this is where the independence comes in. Each of you really prioritizes the projects and work and things that you have going on in your own life. So there may be a bit of a struggle to find a balance with spending time together, with actually making time together. So that's going to be something that you'll have to really pay attention to and make sure that you have like fixed times for each other, or prioritize each other, because your bond is very strong, but you're also very strongly bonded to your own lives. Let's take a look at more of the romantic connection. So we have the Fool, the Four of Swords, the Seven of Wands, the Seven of Pentacles, and the Ace of Chalices. So there's a really strong longing here for, sorry, it's a car alarm. Sorry about that. There's a really strong longing here for a new beginning. We've bookmarked these cards here with the Fool, and this is taking a leap of faith. So I think probably the leap of faith here, and what I'm getting and what I'm feeling, is because of these external things. It's because of fear of judgment from others. It's because of, these external forces. With the 2 sevens here, like 5 and 7 are both disruptive energies, almost a little bit chaotic. And so it feels like when you're together, it's not chaotic, but everything outside of it is chaotic. There is a little bit of a, there's something about the masculine maybe being a little bit too hasty physically, and that there needing to be this like communication about what is actually needed, wanted, desired in this relationship. I do feel like there could be a period, so it depending on where you are in this timeline, there could be a period of stepping back and assessing things, and like a period of separation. So you may be in this period of separation, or you may, that may be something that comes, it definitely comes after, kind of acknowledging that this is a relationship that you're interested in and taking that step forward. I do see there being struggles with that, but there's this Ace of Chalices, this, both people with their cups full of love being able to share that connection. So there's definitely this want of a new beginning. So let's go into more of the Decameron. You had a lot of those here. Okay. All right, so this is kind of something I was picking up here, where the masculine and feminine had different ideas of physical connection. There could be some shame on the feminine side. So situations that happen in the past, or just values that are different or more conservative than the masculines. there's also this kind of like, yeah, just past experiences coming in and influencing how you physically connect. So there's this need to kind of move through that. Though each person is their own individual person, some work that you will be doing together is to create harmony in that way. And so one way, if there is trauma, if there is something like that, is to share your story and not go like all the way, just like comforting physical energy. Maybe just start lying next to each other, naked, or like affection, intimacy, focusing on that before becoming sexual, even though you have a lot of sexual energy. So there is a strong desire here. It's just that there's things from the past that are coming up here. Oh, I'm really sorry. But what we have here also is this negotiation. It does come like full circle. It is something that can be overcome. This is not something that an energy that's going to be stuck. The 8 of Spades. But it will take some work and some reassurance. So being stable for each other, being, this is kind of one of those things where like the more you see someone showing up for you, the more comfortable you feel, that you're safe, that that you can get out of your head, because I do see a lot of getting into the head here, and not really being able to express this innate sensuality. So we do have sensuality versus like passion. So we have a masculine energy that's extremely passionate, with a feminine energy that just needs like slow, gentle unfolding. Okay, so slow it down, explore each other. There's a lot of sensuality. So this feminine really wants to, so if this is you, or however you're seeing yourself in this reading, this feminine really wants to be worshipped, honestly, to feel comfortable in her own body or in their own body, and to that unfolding. Let's take a look at hidden desires. There's quite a few. So we have the Priest, the Hermits, yeah, that sensuality with the King of Fire, yeah. The 8 of Fire, and 1 of Earth. Okay, so the hidden desires in this connection. There's definitely a desire to couple up. There's a desire to have deep levels of intimacy and deep passion. The feminine is attracted to the fieriness of the masculine. So though it may scare her and there may be nervous things, again, working through past issues, with this slow unfolding, there's a lot of passion. And what will open up is, and I see in the feminine, is an ability to speak what she wants, to be more illicit, to be more comfortable in her own skin. And that's a brand new, fresh start. So there's this period, even if there's a rough patch sexually in this connection, there is a new beginning that I can see happening here. And that's what the desire is to move past. So some people, they're just sort of like, well, I didn't have good experiences in the past and I'm just going to leave it at that. But this is not the case in this connection. There's a very strong Taurus Virgo energy for the feminine here, and very strong fire energy for the masculine. We have kisses, yes, opening up sweetly. So this is a connection where you both really love kissing each other. There's unconditional loving, giving and receiving affection, falling in love. The falling in love process in this situation is going to be so beautiful. The hiccup here is going to be external factors and past the physical past of each other. So open communication is going to be key there. Coffee cup, meeting and conversing, savoring the moment, feeling uplifted, friendship. So there could be that this grows out of a friendship, particularly because of how this may not seem like an obvious coupling. You may start as friends, but again, there's the communication component here, and whatever else, there's unconditional love at the base of this relationship. Hand of cards, take a chance, risk, being strategic, options, not showing hand, and gambling. So one of the killers of this relationship would be to hold secrets or to keep things to yourself. It's going to be better, and this masculine is someone who wants things. I feel like both of you are, you want things straightforward, even if it kind of like gives you a bit of a gut punch to hear it. You want to hear it. You want to know, you want the information, and that's only going to build this physical relationship and this emotional relationship to have that. And oh, this is so sweet. I like you. Someone likes you, romance is blooming, fun flirting, want to date. I feel like it may not be obvious. So usually there's one person who catches feelings or who has intentions before the other. I'm really getting in this connection due to the nature, it's the masculine. And this masculine may carry around these feelings for quite some time as a friend. And just be like, I really like you. And then it has to kind of build over time. Through a friendship, through communication, but the affection in this relationship is so good. It's really nice. Sweet pea. Oh, the comfort of good company heals old hurts. Yes, this is what I see for you. I see both of you healing old hurts for each other. So whatever you're bringing into this relationship, know that it's going to help to heal those things, that you can feel safe and comfortable in this relationship to heal those things. And frangipani, I think that's how you say it. You are truly beautiful on the inside and the outside. And this is what I saw here with, getting the feminine, but it could be either one of you, honestly. Maybe both of you have hangups about your body in some way, or like I'm really feeling that kind of like self-conscious, like wanting to cover yourself up, and both of you are going to feel comfortable eventually. And I think this is not only unfolding like being naked in front of each other, but it's like being naked in front of each other emotionally. It's being vulnerable. This relationship is going to teach you vulnerability, and it has such a sweet energy to it. So I think I'm going to leave it there for you, pile number 2. Thank you so much for joining. I hope you enjoyed this. Please like, subscribe, whatever else, and I'll see you soon. Bye. Okay, pile number 3. Welcome to your reading. You chose the Fairy Forest Oil from Hagroot. We have a big chunk of cards to get through today, so let's take a look at what you have. Princess of Arrows, Psyche. And Judgments, Tannhauser and Elizabeth. Okay, so this is a I'm really feeling that this is a relationship that starts online or long distance. This is something that really has its basis in communication and it has a long distance feel. So it starts off it starts off quickly but slowly at the same time. It sees a lot of transformation. It could be that there's quite a bit of distance between you, like one's in the US and one's in Australia, that kind of thing. But there is this sense of growing up apart but together. It's interesting, there's been a lot of themes. If you've chosen more than one pile, it wouldn't surprise me. There's been a lot of like interconnected themes throughout these readings. One of the readings had Psyche and Cupid in the card. So anyway, there is a possibility as well that if it's not long distance, there's something like maybe one or both of you are academics, and so you end up working at different schools, or you're apart because of schooling. Like maybe you were together in high school and then you split up to go to college, something along those lines. But there's definitely a feeling of I've known this person before. So if it wasn't that you knew them when you were younger, it's that maybe you knew them in a past life or something like that, or they have something about them that's very familiar. And there's an ease of communication between the two of you. So I'm seeing that. Let's take a look at what other cards we have for you. Lord Byron. Yeah, like I was gonna say pen pal. It feels like a pen pal. It feels like, or maybe one or both of you has followed, their blog or their social media, and you really like the words that they write, or they really like the words that you write. So it says, be mad, bad, and dangerous to know. Love will find a way through paths where wolves fear to prey, and friendship is love without his wings. Yeah, there's a long sort of friendship here. There's a long-standing communication of some kind. And if there isn't, when you meet them, or if you've already met them, you'll kind of know, because it feels like you have always talked. It's like you understand each other. You communicate. You don't have to explain yourself to this person. And it could be that this person is quite difficult, or some people difficult in the sense that people don't quite understand them, or difficult in the sense that they're highly creative, or in the case of a writer, like they have a really specific kind of writing schedule that people aren't, or people before you weren't really very comfortable accommodating. So there's something about this person that doesn't really accommodate easily, like but that it feels easy for you to accommodate them. Let's see what else we have. We have the Queen of Hearts, the High Priestess. Yeah, there's definitely a psychic connection. So while there's a lot of communication, or there's an unspoken kind of communication. So maybe they write poetry or songs, and you kind of like, you understand what they're communicating through these songs, through these poems. There's a very strong intuitive heart connection here. And we have the Ace of Wands. Wow, strength. Okay, so this is a relationship that will go through a lot. And again, it could be because, of these more difficult energies, these things to navigate. but it's something that brews for quite some time. So it could be that you've been friends for a long time, or that they've sort of been like in your periphery for a long time, and you don't really know it's romantic until it is. Because of all of these different transformations, it may not even seem like something you want to be a part of until, it's almost like you see them with fresh eyes at some point. So you've always kind of had this connection, this understanding, but you haven't really looked at them romantically, potentially. Let's take a look at more of the romantic connection. So the Knight of Wands. Okay, so what I'm getting here is that the masculine has a physical attraction to the feminine before the feminine does, before the vice versa. So he's more aware of his feelings physically toward her. Like, he's the one that steps out of friendship before her, or maybe has always kind of had an attraction to her, or to them, however you identify the feminine in this situation. I'm trying to be neutral. I don't know. Leave me a comment. Like, I'm trying to be neutral and open, but I don't want it to be confusing. So I'm trying to stay like kind of in that space between, because I do actually have a lot of men that watch my channel. A lot. I don't have that many subscribers, but there's a high percentage of men in my subscribers list, and I want to be accommodating. Some readers really cater to women, and I want to be accommodating to both. So let me know if it's confusing or if you have any suggestions. Anyway, so we have this like this fantasy life that's playing out kind of behind the scenes. It feels like it's really private, though there's communication, and maybe this is because of the long distance. It could be even that the passion opens up in a long distance way, like through texting, or nobody writes letters anymore, I don't think, but through texting or some kind of long distance medium. The High Priestess, again, this is a very psychic connection. Whoa. I don't know what was happening there. Connection. Okay, so there's definitely sexting in this connection. She's got her foot on a cat. Let's think of other words for cat. Yeah, so this is the using, like, there's erotic literature, there's like the way that you communicate with each other is something that really bonds you, and that really feels that's really sexy and really connective and really intimate. And the Seven of Cups. Yeah, this is something that may take a while to come together. Usually the Seven of Cups, it's the Seven of Chalices in this deck, but usually the Seven of Cups is like there's all these choices, but it's also like kind of a fantasy card. So there's a long period of time where maybe this only seems like it could be a fantasy, or there's this long period of like just kind of long distance flirting or whatever else. But there's a strong desire to like kiss each other and be with each other and connect with each other. But a lot of that seems to happen in dreams, or in, some long distance means. And there's also this sense of like, it could be that there's a player energy. Like the masculine comes out of player energy into this relationship. So, he was previously involved with a lot of people, and then finds himself feeling more exclusive with the feminine here. The Six of Chalices. Yeah, this really feels like you've known each other forever, even if you haven't. It could be that you've known each other since childhood, but there's definitely something that makes it feel like you've known each other for a long time. And again, I'm seeing the reading. So there's some level of this that really feels like a story. It really feels, there's a lot of communication through text. And the Two of Spades. So it can be confusing for a long time. I think both of you feel very blinded to what the future could be. It feels, there may be a period of time where it feels like a stalemate. Like, you know, if you are long distance, it's like, well, I've got stuff going on here. I've got stuff going on here. Like, how can we ever come together? So there may be some period of time in this relationship where you don't really know how to move it forward. But there's this strong desire to, because there's this like intimacy, desire for each other, really wanting to please each other and be with each other. Let's see the hidden desires in this connection. Three of Air. For this to not be anything that they've been in before, you know, that's a very strong desire here. Yeah, the Eight of Water. To move away from old relationship patterns. This is a pattern breaking relationship. And maybe it's the communication. Sorry, hold on. Sometimes there are very loud trucks where I live. Okay. So there's a very strong desire to move away from old relationship patterns, old emotional patterns. And I think the strong communication between the two may be something that helps to heal. And also the psychic connection where you just sort of know or can almost read each other's minds. And Justice. Your hidden desire is to be able to see each other and observe each other. This is really sweet. To observe each other in just like regular situations. You know, this is like where you kind of stand in the corner of the kitchen and watch someone make coffee and just see how they do it, like how they grind the beans, or, you know, just their process, and watching their method. And there's this like reverence that I feel here for how this person, you just want to see how they live their daily lives. And this is really something that feels very true for a long distance connection. And the King of Earth. So deep, deep, sensual connection. This is like, I want to melt into you. I want to like merge our bodies and just like, I don't know where you end and I begin. And to have like sneaky, cheeky little moments. So I think the sneaky and cheeky little moments happen over text or through some means of communication, but this is about bringing it into the physical. So the hidden desire that is not so, maybe it is hidden to you, maybe you don't know this, but is that this person really just wants to touch you, to hold you, to watch you, to for this to be mutually something that has never been done before. We have the Phoenix. Yes, transformation. So much transformation in this connection. So, you know, there could be a period with the stalemate here of not really knowing what to do, but this is indicating that it's not really something that you can maybe know right away. Like the opportunity will present itself and it will come through in a very fiery way with a lot of where you'll both feel really passionate, new phase, rekindle, renew, transformation, growth, changed mind. So at some point, one or both of you is going to change your perspective on this relationship and move it forward, drive it forward. Engagement ring. So this is something where there will be commitment of some kind, engagement, partnership, commitment, eternity, completion, union. This is definitely a forever kind of relationship, or at least a very committed long-term relationship where you both grow together and transform together. And it just feels like whatever is complicated or whatever is difficult about each of you does not really bother the other person. You not that you don't have complications in this relationship, because you definitely do, but the things that are normally a hang up in a relationship with another person are not the things that are a hang up in this relationship, and that makes it maybe easier to navigate. And then heartbroken. So we had that with the 3 of air here. This this, like, it's like you help each other to process the grief of what you've already been through, and that this is a new beginning in that way. But I also feel like any period of separation, so let's say you do come into separation in this stalemate period, or in this you will miss each other, is what I'm trying to say. And that feeling will be mutual. You will both miss each other. Not enough. Frustrated in a relationship, lack of confidence, self-sabotage, fear, ego issues. So these are some of the things that are going to be negotiated in this relationship. And there could be a feeling of, and that could keep this distant for longer. So the longer you process these not enough feelings, or these heartbreaks and all of the things that you individually have to go through, the longer it will take to come together. But just know that the process unfolds as it should. It may get frustrating at some points, having that distance. It may not feel great all the time, but it is a slow moving kind of thing. Let's see what else we have. Lotus. Stand still for now and listen to your life. Interesting. Stand still for now. I'm going to leave it at that. I think that is a complete message in itself. And Buttercup, be ready. The best is on its way. Yeah, so if you have, wherever you're at in this relationship on this timeline, there's more and better coming, is what this is telling us. So I think I'm going to leave it there, pile number 3. Thank you so much for joining me on this card reading journey. Please like, subscribe, write a comment. That really helps my channel. And we'll see you soon. Take care.